All right, so let's talk about what carbohydrates do in your body. Okay, I want to make this pretty fun for you, pretty simple, but also something that's memorable, right? So you can remember this when you're overloading on carbs, or if you were wondering, should you have these carbs or not, okay? And different carbs, they're classified differently, so they do different things. But ultimately, what simple carbs or sugars, what they do in your body, and also I would say, mostly simple carbs, what they will do in your body is they will stimulate an insulin response, which is a hormone that allows you to grow. We call it anabolic hormone. It allows you to grow and get bigger by storing some of the nutrients as fat, by filling up your muscle cells and things like that. So insulin is a huge thing that we want to control. We don't want insulin to be spiked every time we eat. And carbohydrates, protein does it at a minimal level, but carbohydrates makes your insulin levels spike really high, especially if they're like sugary juices or sugary processed foods like donuts and snacks and candies. Those really make your insulin levels spike very high. Okay, so we want to control our carbohydrate intake mainly because of that reason. Now starches, which are considered simple sugars as well, will do the same thing. Rices, breads, things with flour, things like that. All those, especially any of the white carbohydrates, they're really going to spike your insulin levels. And unfortunately, your body just doesn't have a choice but to store a lot of the food you eat as fat. Now, we get to complex carbohydrates, which is more like whole grains and oatmeals and things like that. They don't spike your insulin levels as much, but you still want to control the amount that you take in. If you have too large a portion, and if you don't know about portion sizes, by the way, there's a video on this site about portion sizes, how to determine them based on your height and your weight and things like that. But it's pretty easy format. But with complex carbohydrates, they don't spike your insulin levels as high, but you still have to be careful how much you eat. Now, the other part about carbs, there's two more things with carbs, okay? One of them is, no matter if it's simple or complex, which I think complex are obviously a little bit better and healthier than simple carbs, either way, carbohydrates attract water when you eat them. They need to be broken down by water. That's where the end of the name hydrate comes from, right? So it's carbohydrate, right? So they need to be broken down by water. And based on science, 1 gram of carbohydrate needs about 4 to 5 grams of water to break it down. So that's why we absorb all this water and we look swollen and puffy when we overeat on carbs as well. So there's a lot going on with not just the hormones, but with water and thicker blood volume. So you're going to swell up, and easily you can look 10, 15, 20 pounds heavier when you're eating constantly on a monthly or daily basis, overeating on carbs. The other thing is our body can only take in so much food at one time. So when we overeat, typically it's easier to overeat on carbs than it is to overeat on protein. People really don't massively overeat on meat. It's pretty tough to do, right? So the carbs, say if you can only take in about 200 grams, maybe this is the equivalent of 200 grams, but you ate 400 grams, well, all of this can get stored right here. But the rest, the remaining portion, is going to actually be stored away as fat, and it can't be used as the smaller portion. Okay, so we always want to control our carbohydrate intake because there's 3 factors affecting us. You have the hormone response that's unfavorable. You have the propensity to attract a lot of water just to be able to break down the carbs, and that's not good because you're going to be puffy and swollen. And then the last part of that is, any excess food gets stored away as fat immediately. And that's unfavorable as well when you're looking to lose weight, okay? So that's all we have about how carbs react in your body. Look forward to some more videos. Check it out about carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and how they react in your body as well. All right, thanks for joining. See you next time.